Today, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, mostly clear, low 66. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live, and this is the Bermuda we know and love, right? Except for the boat being sunk in the foreground.
Right, with the exception of that, you can see the mast sticking up out of the water there. Clearly, that was not that way yesterday.
Nope.
And then last night we had Hurricane Gonzalo make a direct hit on this tiny island. Fortunately, for the most part, people well prepared. But you can see that whatever damage they do have to clean up, which is a decent amount, it's beautiful weather for it today.
It's gorgeous now. Good stuff.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so this morning we've shown you there's a close-up on the boat. You can see it there now. It looks like possibly even more than one boat down there. We're still assessing the damage to see exactly what's going on. And this morning we've shown you some of that damage that's left behind but by Hurricane Gonzalo. We've been showing you all last night, all this morning. As the storm approached, we had people on the ground waiting to see what was to come.
Yeah, and here's your inside look at what happened in the moments leading up to the storm and when Gonzalo actually arrived.
Here I am on the western side of Bermuda right now, and we're still expecting the storm to track about 20 to 50 miles to our west.
The causeway, as the sun has come up here in Bermuda, clouds starting to thicken up, the wind is increasing. We're still waiting for the brunt of Hurricane Gonzalo.
We are going to get battered here with hurricane force winds.
Make no mistake, it is going to get extremely rough, and this scene will look dramatically different. The causeway is now closed, starting to get whitecaps. The wind is starting to pick up now, gusting into the mid-30s. Look at conditions out here now, almost hurricane force winds here.
Conditions have been deteriorating here since early this afternoon as Hurricane Gonzalo passes by as a Category 3 storm. We are in the thick of it right now as Hurricane Gonzalo makes its way onshore. It is so close right now that the surf is starting to come up. Winds have already gusted on the island upwards of around 101 miles per hour.
Okay, so that was at the peak of Gonzalo as it was passing on through. Not the peak strength, thankfully. It did undergo a little bit of weakening before pass over Bermuda last night. Here's a look at what it currently looks like, pushing off to the north, pulling away from Bermuda, thankfully leaving it actually in some very nice weather, some dry air being pulled in there. Tropical Storm Trudy may be new to you if you're just waking up with us this morning. This in the East Pacific here, just south of Acapulco, and we also have Hurricane Ana just south of Hawaii. So I want to be able to get to that, but first let's touch on Gonzalo because this is where we've seen the most significant impacts. You can see how it's pulling away right now and no longer a visible eye with this. You can see a little bit of that center of circulation here, but you know, we have that clearly defined eye as this was a Category 4 hurricane for the first time since 2011. In fact, it was technically the strongest max sustained winds since 2010 even, going back that far. Right now, 90-mile-an-hour winds, and you can actually see here on satellite, it almost looks like it's a little better organized right now than it was. We had a lot of that convection on the north side of it. Some of that's starting to reform back down on the south side of it, so we'll see what happens here with the strength of Gonzalo as we go through the next advisory. Bermuda now in the clear. Here's the deal, though. We do still have some spots that are seeing some problems. Max sustained winds right now at the airport, 16 miles an hour. Very different than the wind gusts that we saw of our max recorded last night, 144 miles an hour on the back side of that eye wall. So just tremendous storm. Here's what's going on with this Category 1 storm. It is expected to pass just south of Newfoundland, and whenever that happens, you could be seeing some pretty gusty conditions there. Tropical storm force conditions certainly going to be a possibility. Look at this. Friday evening, the UK could see some impacts. So that's why we have places like St. John's under a tropical storm watch right now, because this is still a storm. and is still moving to the north. Let's get to Anna in the Pacific and what's going on with this, because the very latest is a tremendous amount of rainfall coming down on the Big Island. And the problem with that is that when you have that mountainous terrain, all that rain has to run off, and it actually is a flood event that goes on for a couple of days, even after it stops raining sometimes. So that's why we're going to be watching for flood concerns and possibly even mudslides, especially on the Big Island. Taking a look at Oahu and Kauai, that's where we have tropical storm watches in effect right now. The good news is, look at the center of these winds, where the strongest is way south of the island chain. So we have 3-mile-an-hour winds right now in Hilo on the other side of those mountains. We've got a lot of that rain, though, so this is where we're going to be watching those downpours. And in fact, look at this rainfall estimate. That bullseye there, way high amounts. We're going to be watching that more when we come back.
For the year.
Hi, sorry, just want to say I bundled home an auto with State Farm, saved $760. Love this guy. So sorry.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Savings worth talking about. State Farm.
Sensitive bladder? Never miss a chance to dance. Introducing a revolution in bladder leak protection. New, always discreet. Up to 40% thinner for superior comfort. Absorbs 2 times more than you may need for dance all you want protection. No wonder more women already prefer new always discreet pads over poise. New Always Discreet. Now bladder leaks can feel like no big deal because, hey, she happens. Curious? Visit alwaysdiscreet.com.
What does a 37 million horsepower launch feel like?
Experience it for yourself. Only at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Meet real astronauts, see Space Shuttle Atlantis, and experience firsthand the future of America's space exploration.
Alaska. It's the place you've always dreamed of, where the ordinary is simply extraordinary, and the views, like your memories, go on forever. When was the last time a vacation took your breath away? Alaska. Begin your adventure at AlaskaBeyondYourDreams.com.
Looking for one of these?
Yoplait. Smooth, creamy, and craved by the whole family.
There it is. This is where I met your grandpa. Right under this tree.
Some things are worth holding on to.
They're hugging the tree.
That's why we got a Subaru.
Was it that tree?
Introducing the all-new Subaru Outback. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
For over a decade, doctors have been prescribing Nexium to patients just like you. For many, prescription Nexium helps heal acid-related erosions in the lining of the esophagus. There is risk of bone fracture and low magnesium levels. Side effects may include headache, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. If you have persistent diarrhea, contact your doctor right away. Other serious stomach conditions may exist. Avoid if you take clopidogrel. Nexium 40 milligram is only available by prescription. Talk to your doctor. For free home delivery, enroll in Nexium Direct today.
Shark Tank Nation, Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Amazing! 2 shark-filled nights, 8 hours.
It's a great idea.
It's good to know we're loved. Shark Tank Nation, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, starting at 8 Eastern on the fastest-growing network in primetime. CNBC.
Currently in our area, 81 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, mostly clear, low 66. Winds light and variable. here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Monday night this fall.
What is it that produces these things?
The Weather Channel unlocks the secrets of the Earth. An all-new season starts Monday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. I'm Kate Parker.
And I'm Keith Carson. As you watch the show today, send us pictures of what you're doing this weekend. Hashtag your weekend. Keep it PG. It's a family show.
It is a family show. Okay, Panama City Beach, Florida. Gorgeous part of the country. How about that sun coming up? Beautiful sunrise. This was taken by Gary Cooper. Thank you so much for sending this in and showing us how you're spending your weekend. I'd like to be spending it that
fantastic.
way.
Yeah, and all right, so another thing, obviously, that's the fun part of it. We're talking about Gonzalo still. Good news is Gonzalo now, Bermuda's that little speck there you see to the south of it. You know, obviously, Gonzalo wasn't even actually that big a system, but Bermuda's so small.
It is fascinating. I actually really want to crunch the numbers and see what the probability is that a 40-mile diameter eye would pass over what, like a 15-mile-an-hour or mile across island?
There's some nerd to be had there.
There is some nerd to be had there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so
should I read that?
Maybe.
Okay. The damage assessment is underway in Bermuda this morning after Hurricane Gonzalo made a direct hit, as we just talked about last night.
Yeah, so we watched this as a Category 3 storm. It did downgrade to a Category 2 storm, but Gonzalo still knocked out power to almost the entire island, causing probably millions of dollars in damage. Dylan Dreyer has the latest.
Hurricane Gonzalo slammed into Bermuda last night. A direct hit with winds whipping at least 110 miles per hour. The massive swirl swallowed the tiny island as it made landfall just after dark. Rain and wind battered Bermuda quickly. 85% of the island lost power. Boats in the picturesque harbor tossed in the waves. Once the wind did its damage, ripping into homes and buildings, then the main concern became the storm surge and the destructive power of gigantic waves. So I've been keeping an eye on the radar, and the eye wall is making its way on shore right now. So that's when we see the strongest winds and the heaviest rain out of this system. We'll see what happens when the eye crosses over Bermuda. Tourists who chose to ride out the storm started out with confidence, but a twinge of doubt crept in as the wind picked up.
I don't think that we thought it would be this bad approaching. And now, well, what are you going to do? It's too late.
Rob Johnson and Dana Belke still plan to get married today. They waited out the hurricane with their wedding party in the hotel basement.
When we got in here and they'd given us the update, I looked at my bride-to-be and she looked at me and she said, we came to Bermuda to get married and I'm not leaving this island until we get married.
The destruction from Gonzales could rival Hurricane Fabian, which struck Bermuda 11 years ago with enough force to cause $300 million in damage. Today, rebuilding begins for the world-famous vacation spot.
All right, that's Dylan Dreyer with that. Let's talk about what's going on with Gonzalo right now. And obviously, it has moved away from the island. That is good news. And things actually looking really nice there through the morning hours. There's Bermuda right there. This is the back end. And this is when the storm moved through officially at 8:30 as a Cat 2. It was a Cat 3, but it got downgraded right before it had the direct hit there. So here's Gonzalo right now. It's a Category 1 system. There's Bermuda down here. So that's why this morning it has been nice. It has been cleared out. This system moving quickly to the north and east. And it'll eventually kind of become elongated. These systems, when they really speed up and move quickly with the jet stream, 25 miles an hour right now, they tend to get kind of stretched out, so they lose that circular look to them. Look, all along we knew that this was not a risk for the United States mainland, and the reason for that is this trough across the east. It was well picked up in the models the whole time, so we felt like Bermuda was really the only spot that could get hit with this storm. It could have gone to the west, it could have gone to the east, but it couldn't have gone into, say, the Carolinas or into the mid-Atlantic, certainly, because of this trough kind of steering things away, and that's now the steering flow as well. So Bermuda down here, big swells out of the open ocean, so that's kind of a shipping lanes thing. Otherwise, relatively quiet as far as that goes on the island itself. Sustained winds around 16 miles an hour at the airport, so yeah, that's breezy, but it's not dangerous. The strongest winds were on the backside of that eye wall last night. So again, it's a Category 1 system now. It'll be moving quickly off to the north and east. Newfoundland will get hit with it. Tropical storm watch there. And Newfoundland's kind of interesting because of its position. A lot of these storms, as they exit sit and start to bomb out, become stronger, hit them when they're not tropical systems. So they're used to some pretty strong winds, whether or not it be from a tropical or a non-tropical. It's kind of irrelevant. Winds are winds. So they're a spot that's pretty well braced for that. And then actually eventually we'll move into the UK as well. So tropical storm watch is in effect St. John's. But again, these are spots that, especially during the winter, they see these exiting nor'easters coming out of New England, and they get clocked with strong winds. So they'll be all right there. Wave height right now along the eastern seaboard, a little bit elevated in the 5-6 foot range here, 7 feet offshore. But you know, the thing about it this time of the year into the mid-Atlantic and certainly into the Northeast is nobody's really going to be going in the beach anyways. It's not like this happens in July or August when people are going to be out in the ocean. So temperature's not conducive to that. It's rainy, it's cool in the Northeast. So even though the waves are pretty large here through the mid-coast and the Gulf of Maine, other than lobstermen and fishing, this is going to be a non-issue. It's more of a spectator thing if you want to go out there down East Maine and see some waves up to 8-9 feet. You can see them and they will be indirectly from Gonzalo. Kate?
We have some video in from Hawaii yesterday. Take a look at this high surf. This is as Ana passes to the south. Now, Ana is a hurricane right now, and these waves obviously pretty large, but look at this. Folks just walking around. There are sandbags in place, but a lot of people enjoying paddleboarding, yeah, in some parts on the north side of these islands and out ahead of Ana before we started seeing those impacts. Now it's a little bit of a different story for a lot of the island chain. We're starting to see some of those very heavy downpours impact some of the more mountainous areas, which means that we're going to be monitoring for some flood concerns. That's right, those are going to be a big problem for us because we've got a lot of moisture. As you can see, it's being pulled up and around here on the northeast side, and that's where a lot of our convection is currently located. The indication of the higher cloud tops here at the darker colors, obviously the vast majority of that way to the south of the island chain, which is really great news. Right now, an 80-mile-an-hour hurricane, very disorganized looking there on our satellite imagery and very lopsided as well as you take a look at radar. Now, you may notice as you're taking a look at the Big Island, it looks as though it's cut off. This is one of those things that's kind of fascinating about radar and what you have going on with the geography of the area. And basically, we've got mountains there, and the radar cannot shoot through the mountains to get a look at the atmosphere because of the elevation, the higher elevation there. So it actually is raining there on the south side of the island as well. You just can't see it. So Hilo getting soaked once again. You may remember Iselle earlier this year gave a good beating to Hawaii, and we're seeing that happen once again as far as rainfall goes. So that's going to be our number one concern, but there is still a tropical storm watch in effect for both Oahu and Kauai. So we are going to be watching Honolulu closely for possible impacts, but look at the winds. You can see how the center very clearly way south of the island chain. Our winds right now in Hilo only 5 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, and Honolulu as well. So good news, but still monitoring very closely for some coastal erosion with some of those big waves and some flood concerns, Keith.
All right, thanks, Kate. Let's talk about Florida because right now in Miami, it's pretty nice. You take a look at the camera right now. It's dry, it's pleasant, but hey, things are going to be changing there in a big way. We get a little system developing and moisture going to be streaming out across the Gulf and in through Florida. So right now it's 83, plenty of sunshine, gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Front actually came through there. So today, 84 in Miami, 82 in Orlando, Montgomery, Atlanta, all looking good. But eventually, we do get a low to develop. You don't see anything right now. The clouds pretty much non-existent. It's so nice out, but there's that low into kind of the deep Gulf of Mexico. So some of that moisture will stream out over southern and central Florida on its way to a frontal boundary out here. So in a way, it's just in between southern Florida as a transfer of energy, transfer of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico to the Atlantic, and that ends up being bad news for their weather because by Tuesday it starts to shower, some showers in Fort Myers, no big deal. But heavier stuff moves in Tuesday night into Wednesday, and all said and done, we could see several inches of rain over southern Florida. Kate?
All right, Keith, that cool air that hit the Midwest this week is continuing on into the Northeast. We're going to take a look at the areas that are expected to feel the biggest drop in temperatures. That's right after your local on B8.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, mostly clear, low 66. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When your house loses power, it can be tough for your family. But not if your family has a Kohler generator. Restores power automatically in as little as 10 seconds and is backed by a 5-year limited warranty. Kohler generators. Keep your family flowing.
When the power goes out, you'll go on. Contact your Kohler Generators dealer today.
Pain from your day can haunt you at night. Don't let it. Advil PM gives you the healing sleep you need, helping you fall asleep and stay asleep so your body can heal as you rest. Advil PM for a healing night's sleep.
For the year? Hi, sorry, just want to say, I bundled home an auto with State Farm, saved $760. Love this guy. So sorry.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky!
Savings worth talking about. State Farm.
From restoring damage in just one room to an entire building. Turn to the cleanup team that's here in your community and here to help at 1-800-SERVE-PRO, like it never even happened.
Ring, ring. Progresso.
I can't believe I'm eating bacon-enriched creamy cheese before my sister's wedding.
Well, it's only 100 calories, so you'll be ready for that dress.
Uh-huh.
You don't love the dress?
I love my sister.
40 flavors, 100 calories or less.
A party?
Hi, I'm new Ensure Active Clear Protein Drink.
Clear, huh? My nutritional standards are high.
I'm not juice or fancy water. I've got 8 grams of protein.
Twist my lid. That's 3 times more than me.
17 vitamins and minerals.
And 0 fat.
You bring a lot to the party.
Yay!
New Ensure Active Clear Protein. 8 grams protein, 0 fat, 17 vitamins and minerals, and delicious blueberry pomegranate and mixed fruit. Take life in.
We all have to plan for retirement. But when we start worrying about tomorrow, we miss out on what matters today. At AXA, we offer advice and help you break down your retirement goals into small, manageable steps. Because when you plan for tomorrow, it helps you live for today. Can we help you take a small step? For advice, retirement, and life insurance, connect with AXA.
I let him know every time I save $1.
Every time.
Now there is a tool made for you. Introducing Savings Catcher from Walmart. It compares prices to top stores in your area. If there's a lower advertised price, Walmart will give you the difference on an e-gift card. Oh, money! For a limited time, get 2 times the Savings Catcher reward dollars when you redeem to your Bluebird card. Every penny counts. Yep. Join the millions of people saving money with Savings Catcher. Go to walmart.com/Savings Catcher. Save money, live better. Walmart.
My feet felt so heavy at the end of the day.
They used to get really tired.
Until I started gelling.
I got Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
When they're in my shoes, my feet and legs feel less tired.
It's like walking on a wave.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
I'm a believer.
We're new to the Pacific Northwest. The rain, the mud, but bam, it's there. The outside comes in. It's a Swiffer wet jet. Oh, I love this. I could do this every day. Ugh. Sunshine is overrated. Now we can get messy.
From coast to coast, in every state, people all across the nation are learning something new. That the best way to protect their cars, trucks, and SUVs is with WeatherTech floor liners. They're laser measured to perfectly protect your specific vehicle. Front, back, even up the sides. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech floor liners, proudly made in America.
Well, welcome back to Weather Center Live. Not a bad day in New York City. There are certainly some clouds around, but you can see some breaks in them as well. At cooler temperatures, a lot of clouds, not the best weekend ever. And I'll tell you what, work week doesn't look great either. There's Times Square. People still out. It's not raining right now, chance of showers. Let's talk about this trough, though, in the east because it has cooled things down. They had a couple of days there that were summer-like, for sure. For this time of the year, you'll take anything that gets warm. Right now, it's 68, so room temperature. Can't complain about that. A lot of clouds around, and again, a chance of a shower. There's a lot of moisture in the air. This is kind of a little trough coming through. So the trough is out ahead of it. The actual cold front back here, and then a secondary cold front behind that. You'll see more of these two cold front systems in the late fall and into the winter because what happens is you have one air mass and then a really cool air mass behind it with stronger northwest winds. So we kind of analyze or draw in two fronts in that case. A lot of the shower activity out ahead of it across upstate New York in through Vermont as well, in through New Hampshire. Light stuff over Massachusetts, temperatures in the 70s and 60s. So ahead of it, not too bad, but you'll see that cool air come in with these showers as well. And you look now, you don't have to go too far up into Canada this time of the year to start to see some snow showers. In fact, as we look, say, about a week from today, these snow showers will now get down into upstate New York, in through northern Vermont and northern New Hampshire as well. So that's not far away. All part of this trough, really strong trough, all the way through the Midwest, in through the Northeast, in through the Mid-Atlantic. Temperatures cooler because of that. And that flow kind of coming down on those northwest winds are a cool wind direction any time of the year. So it's bitter in the winter. This time of the year is just cooler, 5 to 10 degrees below average. And then we get stuck in a rut through midweek with that nor'easter that's going to develop Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All look showery, basically all the way from New York up through Boston to upstate New York into New England. So that period of time looks really rough, really windy, very unsettled. Kate?
Keith, it's football Saturday. Time for your college football forecast. And if you're not already at the tailgate, chances are you're wanting to know, hey, what's my kicker going to face out on the team? What is my QB going to face as he throws? Is he going to be into the wind, out of the wind? How are things shaping up game day wise? Well, it looks like we got those showers that Keith was just showing you, but otherwise beautiful for a large part of the country. So let's break down this football forecast. Where should we start? I avoided it last time, but I can't resist. I have to give you the forecast for my Missouri Tigers. They are against the Florida Gators today. So I have a lot of friends that went to UF, and I just, maybe a couple of wagers going on there. Just saying, 72 degrees, clear tonight for kickoff at 7 p.m. So pretty good looking forecast. Look at those winds, though. They're going to be something to watch. Not too shabby, but that's what you always have to pay attention to is that wind direction. Let's go a little farther north here. We do have some rain in the forecast and mostly cloudy skies. Only 54 degrees. This is for Michigan State versus the Indiana Hoosiers, and you are going to be seeing 54 degrees. That is your max temperature during the game. This is at 3:30 in the afternoon. So those winds out of the north-northwest, 2 at 11 miles an hour, not going to be making things feel any more pleasant. How about we go to Oklahoma to see what's going on there? Or how about Arkansas? What's going on with that game in Little Rock? It's the Razorbacks versus the Georgia Bulldogs. We're going to see how that goes. 71 degrees, sun and clouds. Great looking forecast there, although I'm not a fan of the Bulldogs right now. Sorry. Missouri Tigers, that's my team. We had a rough week last week. Here's what's going on. If you take a look here, this is for West Virginia versus Baylor. 54 degrees, a few showers for the game. Those winds out of the west-northwest. So this is probably one of the worst forecasts of the game, Keith.
Does the bet, Kate, involve you having to shave your head if you lose?
We'll see.
That's a real bet. Stay tuned. That's a real bet. Yeah, that's a tease for you. By the way, we're going to talk more about Gonzalo when we come back, the damage and where it's going.
In the nation, the safest feature in your car is you. Add Vanishing Deductible from Nationwide Insurance and get $100 off for every year of safe driving, which for you shouldn't be a problem. Just another way we put members first, because we don't have shareholders. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
At CVS Health, we took a deep breath and made the decision to quit selling cigarettes in our CVS pharmacies. Now we invite smokers to quit too with our comprehensive program. We just want to help everyone, everywhere, breathe a little easier. Introducing CVS Health, because health is everything.
Sunday nights. Channel unravels nature's darkest secrets.
I saw something. I don't know how to explain it.
Every Sunday.
It's a story that's got a life of its own.
A new tale of weather legend.
It may have just looked like a storm, but they were dealing with something far worse.
American Supernatural. Tomorrow night at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8s, brought to you by LL Bean. 100% satisfaction guaranteed and free shipping every day.
Making jackets that are built to perform anywhere is hard work. And at LL Bean, we take our job very seriously. Guaranteed quality, no matter what you're up against. From LL Bean.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, mostly clear. Low 66. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We could talk about its refined, class-leading, luxurious interior, or its more than 70 available safety and security features, and optional best-in-class 30 highway MPG. But we let others sum it up for us. This is the Jeep Grand Cherokee. It is the best of what we're made of. During the Jeep Celebration event, well-qualified lessees can lease the 2014 Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 for $359 a month.
You again. Gorilla Glue. Of course.
Water activated, original Gorilla Glue expands into the materials to form an incredibly strong bond for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Introducing York Minis. A bite-sized new way to enjoy the full-size sensation of peppermint and rich dark chocolate. New York Minis. Get the sensation.
When he first joined the Army, I was very nervous.
We didn't know what they would have him doing. But Bobby always had a plan.
With unmatched Shark Tank Nation, Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Amazing! 2 shark-filled nights, 8 hours, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, starting at 8 Eastern.
It's a great idea.
It's good to know we're loved. The Shark Tank runneth over.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, I'm fired up. There's only one Shark Tank.
Shark Tank Nation, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Go deep midweek, starting at 8 Eastern on the fastest growing network in primetime. CNBC.
At Seaside Palm Beach, we recognize that you may have other obligations in your life. When you're here, you'll be able to bring your laptop. We encourage you to bring your phone. We don't want you disconnected from the rest of the world. Where other treatment centers will not allow you to have these things, we know that you have a life, but we're going to help you live that life better than when you came here. Your transition from chemically dependent to chemical-free will be as painless as possible. Seaside Palm Beach, please come see us.
There's no obligation, so call toll-free at 1-800-200-6120.
7 a.m. on AMHQ.
Let's get you in front of today's weather.
The biggest weather hour anywhere.
What a gorgeous start.
Weekday mornings on the Weather Channel.
Well, it may look like you're looking at an island paradise, and you are, but take a closer look here at the Port of Bermuda. See that what almost looks like a stick sticking out of the water? That's the mast of a sailboat that has sunk. as Hurricane Gonzalo passed by. We are looking at the damage today. Obviously, things much calmer there than they were last night. Let's break down the very latest with what's going on in the tropics for you with your tropical update here, 50 past the hour, getting you updated. Gonzalo out there north of Bermuda. We have Tropical Storm Trudy that's south of Acapulco. And then look out here south of Hawaii, Hurricane Ana. Not a good time to be in a tropical location trying to go on vacation. We've got a lot of different problems going on. Here's what's going on with the current visible satellite here. I want you to look at these striations with this system. Now that's an indication that it's incredibly turbulent. So if the hurricane hunters were out doing a flight, they would have some big problems going through this portion of the storm with that outflow cirrus going on, that transverse banding. It's dangerous stuff there. So pretty incredible. And taking a look here on our satellite, you can see it as well. See all these bands? Cool stuff. We also have a little bit of more of a defined center of circulation going on here. Some of that convection coming back around on the south side. It was a little more disorganized this morning. Winds 90 miles an hour. This has seen significant weakening as it's passed north of Bermuda. Now we're seeing a lot of that drier air moving into Bermuda, so good conditions for cleanup. Winds sustained at 16 miles an hour at the airport, so a breezy day for sure, but definitely not what we were seeing last night. Tack on a 0 to the end of that, and that's close to what our max wind gust was. So really tremendous winds last night as the storm passed over. It made its approach as a Category 3 storm, eventually passed over the island as a Category 2 hurricane. It is expected to pass south in Newfoundland as we go throughout the night into Monday and heading into Tuesday, and then look at the latter part of the week. As this crosses the ocean, we could see an influence of the storm, and the UK will have transitioned in nature by then, though. So that incredibly warm core where we have those temperatures that were incredibly warm, indicating that it is a very strong tropical system, that will no longer be the case after it crosses the Atlantic. Until then, tropical storm watch in effect for places like St. John's. You'll notice south of Hawaii, that's where we have the center of Hurricane Ana. This storm has a lot of that convection on the northeast side, which means that all this moisture is being drawn up, and then as it makes its way over some of this more mountainous terrain of the Big Island, those showers are kind of, they're coming down very, very fast, very hard. We've got a lot of rain coming down, and as that runs off down the sides of those higher elevations, we see the effects of land. We see mudslides, we see very heavy rainfall, we see rivers and streams become very swollen, and we see flood concerns with that, of course. So we're going to be watching this as it makes its way south of Honolulu. Some of our latest radar data not coming in there exactly, but the wind's not going to be a huge problem with us with this storm. The waves going to be more of a concern, and the flooding going to be a bit of a problem as well. And then, of course, we do have Trudy south of Acapulco, but Keith, that's a 45-mile-an-hour tropical storm. That's all we've got on that right now.
All right, thank you, Kate, for that update. Woolly worms might be the perfect fall insect. They're those furry little caterpillars with the Halloween colors that pop up in certain northern areas this time of the year. Sometimes they're actually not that small. They can get pretty big. But what is it that people say about the folklore that the woolly worms, I'm getting off my topic here, can predict the severity of the coming winter? Well, Tom Nizzle takes a look and sees if this is forecast or fiction.
If you're not familiar with a woolly worm, it's the shade of their coat. They're actually dark on both ends and lighter in the middle, like a dark brown and an orange in the middle. And they can have different patterns from season to season. Now, when I take a look at it and I look at natural phenomena that occur, like the woolly bear's coat, the height of a bee's nest above the ground, squirrels gathering nuts, to me it's more in response to what has already happened weather-wise. So as an example, if it's been a wet and a cool spring, the animals may react to that in a certain way. Now, if a wet and cool spring could predict what the winter is going to be like, and we had some skill there, then you could kind of associate what the animals do and use that as a proxy for forecasting the winter, but it's not that simple.
All right, Tom Nizzle with that. Hey, there's a festival for everything, Woolly Worm Festival in Banner Elk, North Carolina, and temperatures, hey, in the 50s, so it's borderline. A lot of clouds around for that festival there. Interesting piece by Tom, and there's a lot of folklore like that. Talked earlier about how crickets can actually give you the temperature within a couple of degrees if you count the number of times they chirp. There's an equation. Google it. It's pretty cool. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about what's going on still with Gonzalo, I should say, what happened after that storm, the cleanup in Bermuda. We're going to talk about Ana as well, that system that is moving in to Hawaii or just to the south of it. We'll be right back.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, mostly clear. Low 66. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Now on Weather Center Live, big waves, trees snapped, and power lines knocked down. Now the cleanup begins in Bermuda. A look at the mess left behind and hear from those who went through the storm.
And the tropical trouble is not over just yet. Today we have our eyes on the Pacific with Anna on the move, where the storm is headed, and a look at how Hawaii is preparing.
And pull out those long sleeves and heavier jackets. A cool down on the way. Talk about we're going to see those falling temperatures.
Welcome back to Weather Center 5. I'm Kate Parker.
And I'm Keith Carson, and we're having a thermostat debate within the studio.
Okay, I think we should be Team Kate until you start showing sweat beads. I'm showing goosebumps.
That's true. I'll wear the no sleeves next time.
Tweet into us if you're hashtag Team Kate or Team Keith.
Oh, that's not fair. Oh,
warm, cold.
Team hot girl or team guy in a skinny suit. That's fair. Hey, let's talk about what's going on your weekend. We have a hashtag there.
This is a really cool event. This is in Springfield, Missouri. This is from Nathan, where it is beautiful today. This is for the Breast Cancer Foundation of the Ozarks Awareness Ride. Look at all the motorcycles lined up there.
And yeah, really, really nice day. Nice and clear. A lot of the country is quiet today, actually, but tens of thousands of people still without power in through Bermuda, and here's the reason why. You can take a look in the right-hand corner. You'll see that you've got some transformers blowing there, power lines down. Right now, more than 20,000 people still without power.
Yeah, dangerous.
Okay, this is what I woke up to, and there is the roof, and then, and this landed on my back porch.
Okay, so that's what families are waking up to this morning and assessing and taking a look at the damage. Those concrete roofs, terrifying, especially when you're talking about the middle of the night, that the backside of this storm was, well, at least the sun was down. You're without power, so it's pitch black, and all you can hear are parts of your roof coming crumbling down, that concrete crash into the ground.
It does add a dimension, I think, when it's at night. And check out this new video of trees knocked down everywhere as well. So you have some structural damage of trees across the roads. And this is, I think, one of the biggest things we're seeing from this storm. That and some boats that are either turned over or sunk. So we'll talk about that as well. And all right, residents of Bermuda will have a lot of cleanup in the wake of Gonzalo. We just saw you why. And one of the biggest concerns is that causeway area there.
Yeah, we've looked at some of the damage. We're looking at pictures from our very own Peter Neely sending in with some minor damage on the causeway. But Peter, I just saw one of your emails, and it said that they have a lane open on the causeway now.
That's right. In fact, I just crossed the causeway myself about 20 minutes ago. There is some of the barriers on either side of the causeway have been broken through, so I think that's why they only have one lane open at this time.
All right, Peter, so that's good news because that's one spot we were concerned about. Other than that, what's the main thing you're seeing? Are you seeing more structural damage or more just trees down on the road kind of thing?
So with the causeway open, I'm able to tour the south side of the island now, which is a much richer vegetation portion of the island than up in St. George where I was staying. And there is indeed a lot more trees down than there are up there. But one of the remarkable things is of the trees that are still up on how they've all been defoliated. And this island, which is normally this lush green island, has this distinct brown color to it today because all of these trees have been stripped of their leaves. And it is certainly one of the remarkable aspects of this storm.
So we were talking a little bit before that Faye, went through last week. You were there for Faye, and you said that you think that a lot of damage was already done during Faye, so almost it's not as bad with this system?
So I would say it's probably equal, and depending on exactly where you are on the island, some places are probably worse. Certainly what I saw up in St. George was not that bad, but I have found pockets of pretty widespread damage, kind of like EF2 kind of damage here and there. So it's probably somewhat where you are, but it's definitely almost all of it is backside damage. The trees are all pointing over to the east. Those that are down, it's the backsides of the roofs that came off, and the backside of the storm, which we weren't expecting to be as strong as it was really the story of the storm.
Peter, that is tremendous, and that is kind of the meteorological story we've been telling. Obviously, we're going to have to do a post-mortem, go back and look at what exactly happened with this. Did it strengthen on the backside? We did get those recorded wind gusts of about 144 miles an hour. So, Peter, we are glad you are safe. Thank you for bringing us all that tremendous meteorological information. I mean, you are our SVP of global forecasting.
Great guy to have on the ground.
Good person to have there.
Hey, let's talk about what's going on right now. It is nice for the most part, but one thing you'll notice there, and you'll see in the foreground, and Edward, our director, was nice enough to kind of zoom in on it earlier. See the mast, the top of that boat there? So yeah, it looks beautiful in Bermuda, and if you're not paying attention, you may not notice that there's a boat sunk in the foreground. So some of the damage, but now looking good as Gonzalo moves away from Bermuda. Let's talk about where the system is at, because now, as you can see, you don't even have any of the clouds left over behind it. So you might forget it happened if you don't look at the damage that has been left behind. Officially landfall 8:30 p.m. as a Category 2. It was a Cat 3 right before it moved into Bermuda. So maybe a technicality, very, very, very close as far as the winds go. Strong Category 2, let's put it that way. Now it's a Category 1, and there's Bermuda down there. So you can see the cloud band's not even associated with it. A beautiful day in Bermuda now. This system is going to get kind of stretched out over time here. That's what happens when these tropical systems undergo the transition to an extratropical storm. They get kind of sheared or stretched out as the jet stream really rockets these things off to the north and east. And remember, this trough across the eastern seaboard was the key to the entire forecast, because we never thought, not only us, National Hurricane Center, no one ever thought this system had a chance at the U.S. mainland because of that trough, that digging trough pushing this system away. Now, as far as the wave heights go, there's Bermuda down there. There's still some pretty good swells in there, but they're right around the center of the circulation, which is not around anything else. So that's good news. And the winds on the backside of it, yeah, they're breezy, 15, 16 miles an hour. That's sustained winds, calm as you head farther down to the south. And even these will go down here shortly as you get farther and farther away from the center of that circulation. So Bermuda done. Now we're just going to clean up after that. And again, this thing gets picked up in the jet stream and really rocketed. Newfoundland is one of those spots that is gets hit with a lot of winds, whether it be from a nor'easter or from an extratropical or a tropical. They're just kind of jutting out there as far as the topography of it. So they do have a tropical storm watch, but again, they'll probably be okay. St. John gets hit a lot with those kind of winds. Kate?
Okay, so we're talking about another threat to that part of the country and that part of Canada. We're not just talking about showers, but ferocious winds as a nor'easter is starting to unfold in the forecast. We're going to take a look at who will be in the mix and when you can expect to see those changes, and more importantly, for how long.
Show it off, America. Show off that belt you replaced. Show off the fuel pump, the oil change, the upgrade. You did it. There are a lot of places you can go to do it yourself, but there's only one place that can help you do it right: AutoZone. Because even the pros know parts are just part of what we do. We have the advice, the instructions, we even loan tools. So show it off, America. You did it right. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
When he first joined the Army, I was very nervous.
We didn't know what they would have him doing. But Bobby always had a plan.
With unmatched training in over 150 careers beyond the battlefield, there are over 150 surprising ways to become Army strong. Talk to your son or daughter about opportunities in the Army.
It may have just looked like a storm, but they were dealing with something far, far worse.
Tomorrow night, the Weather Channel unravels a new tale of weather legend.
Voodoo, like magic, is it real?
Yeah, that's real. American Supernatural. Tomorrow night at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, mostly clear. Low 66. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural. Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin. Blah, blah, insurance. Person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. 6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
I let him know every time I save $1.
Every time.
Now there is a tool made for you. Introducing Savings Catcher from Walmart. It compares prices to top stores in your area. If there's a lower advertised price, Walmart will give you the difference on an e-gift card.
Oh, money!
For a limited time, get 2 times the Savings Catcher reward dollars when you redeem to your Bluebird card.
Every penny counts.
Yep. Join the millions of people saving money with Savings Catcher. Go to walmart.com/Savings Catcher. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Let's do a reality check. Kids will be kids. Dogs will be dogs. So let's get some paint that's more than just paint. Made to stand up to this and look beautiful for years. Let's lose the old marks and messes and stop new ones in their tracks. Let's worry-proof our walls. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Behr Premium Plus with Easy Clean Finish starting at $25.97 a gallon.
Fact. Every time you take Advil Liquid Gel, you're taking the pain reliever that works faster on tough pain than extra strength Tylenol. And not only faster, stronger too. Relief doesn't get any better than this. Advil.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. We've been talking about Gonzalo through much of the morning. Ana also brings some impacts in through Hawaii. There was a flash flood warning for Hawaii County, and that is until 10. And you can see Hilo there. We've got some road closures there, pretty much is what we're seeing out of it, and just a lot of heavy rainfall. And we felt all along with Ana that that's the main threat as it passes to the south is going to be the rain and some big swells. So not a direct hit to Hawaii. That is good news, but there are some impacts still to be had with Ana. For now, what's going on in the Northeast? Let's go to Kate.
Yeah, we're talking about what? A nor'easter? It's a possibility. Not right now in D.C. Look at how gorgeous it looks. It is a beautiful day at the White House. Flag billowing in the background there, so we do have a little bit of wind. You can see the Washington Monument down the lawn, and we do have some winds going on there. There's a look at the Capitol building. Gorgeous day on the Mall. Beautiful, but soak it up. Changes are coming in the form of a nor'easter. Oh yeah, that's going to be a possibility for us this week. So what exactly is a nor'easter? We need to remind ourselves because it has been such an awfully long time, and it is an area of strong pressure. So what happens is this forms off the coast, it deepens, and as that low deepens, we see strong winds that are continuous, and they really impact the coast because you could see coastal flooding, coastal erosion with some very large waves, some wind gusts that are pretty tremendous, and you see a lot of rain, and you're kind of socked in for days. So here's what's going on right now. You've got that northwest flow over the northeast. So you're already seeing those cloudy conditions, showers making their way across to upstate New York and on into New England. But here's what happens later on this week. So we get this dip in the jet stream, really amplified dip there, which means that we're going to see that strong disturbance help to add into this lower level disturbance. So this low that's a little closer to the surface of the earth. What's going to happen is that as that moves off the coast, it'll move over the Appalachian mountains. It'll make its way offshore, and that's whenever it's going to strengthen. That's when it's going to deepen. That's going to follow this jet stream on up to the northeast, but it's going to do so slowly, and it's going to pull in a ton of tropical moisture that's going to pull onshore and suck you in the northeast for the next several days. So Tuesday through Thursday and beyond, we're talking about heavy rain, strong winds, coastal flood threats as this system basically is from Virginia all the way up into down East Maine. So Tuesday, this is what it looks like. Showers just kind of scattered. We're getting things started. Getting into Wednesday, the system gets more in its groove. We get some heavier downpours. Gets a little more windy along the coast. Going into Thursday, we get some tremendous downpours and wind. It is going to be unpleasant for the next several days, so we could see easily 5 inches of rain and even some flurries in higher elevations, Keith.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Thanks, Kate. Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad in the northeast coming up. Hey, it's the most beautiful time of the year. Fall's alive in some of your backyards. Take a look at this picture from Framingham, Massachusetts, which is kind of in central Massachusetts, outside 495 belt there. Luana Harris sent us that. That is a good-looking shot. We got some other areas, though. How about Michigan, Romulus, Michigan? One strong maple there amongst some other trees that aren't quite as strong. You can see the leaves falling, though, as we get later in the season. Illinois, same deal. Looks like it's on the way out as far as the color goes there. Some of those trees have lost their leaves. Good stuff. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit here, because we still have some foliage down here across Massachusetts and down into the mid-Atlantic, but I've experienced it over the years. A couple things really kill foliage. One is winds and the other is heavy rainfall. And we're about to get both of those as we head into midweek. Let's take a look at what happens here as we head into Wednesday with that nor'easter Kate was just talking about. Really persistent and strong east winds here, so forget about it. We're done. Maine, New Hampshire, maybe into Vermont, Massachusetts. Those leaves are going to blow off the trees. So this is kind of the end of foliage season for them. They're also going to see a ton of rain, as we talked about. So that tends to kind of mute the colors. And in some cases, the combination of the rain and the wind takes more leaves off the tree. So we're talking 3 to 5, even more than that as possible over the mid-coast and southern parts of Maine. So, you know, this is towards the end of their season anyways. That's a given. But this is a season-ending event with this nor'easter coming up. So try to enjoy it over the next couple of days. I can think the leaves off that through the winter coming up soon. We'll be right back.
What does an apron have to do with car insurance? Every time you tie in an apron, you make progress. And we like that. Because progress is what we make too.
From residential to commercial, from large loss to emergency response. Whenever damage strikes, call on the cleanup team that's faster to any size disaster at 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
Remember the hassle of vacuuming before the Dyson DC-59 Motorhead? Before our direct drive cleaner head increased brush power to out-clean the 5 best-selling full-size vacuums across carpets and hard floors without the hassle of a cord.
Since 1902, Carrier has been inventing new ways to make people comfortable. And today, comfort can also mean efficiency. Because being more efficient with your home heating can mean spending less on it. And that's something everyone can get comfortable with. If you're ready for Carrier Comfort, now you can get cool cash rebates of up to $1,450 on a new system. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Oh yeah, that's going down. Oh, let's get some rocks back.
Health can change in a minute. So CVS Health is changing healthcare, making it more accessible and affordable, with over 900 locations for walk-in medical care and more on the way. Minute Clinic, another innovation from CVS Health, because health is everything.
7 a.m. on AMHQ.
Let's get you in front of today's weather.
The biggest weather hour anywhere.
What a gorgeous start.
Weekday mornings on the Weather Channel.
Every Sunday.
You're driving along, having a perfectly nice day, when out of nowhere a pickup truck slams into your brand new car. 1 second, it wasn't there, and the next second, boom, you had your first accident. Now you have to make your first claim. So you talk to your insurance company, and boom, you're blindsided for a second time. It won't give you enough money to replace your brand new car. Don't those people know you're already shaken up?
Liberty Mutual's new car replacement will pay for the entire value of your car, plus depreciation. Call 1-888-731-2166. And for drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. Switch to Liberty Mutual Insurance and you could save up to $423. Call Liberty Mutual for a free quote today at 1-888-731-2166. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Refund the shipping and even pay the return postage. Try NoNo risk-free today.
If you miss tomorrow night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, tomorrow night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, mostly clear. Low 66. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Live look at Port of Bermuda. Beautiful. You may think, hey, this is a nice place to be on vacation. So did our very own Peter Neely, who works here at the Weather Channel last week. And then we had Faye and Gonzalo slam into Bermuda back-to-back weekends. And so what you're seeing there on your screen, if you look right there in the middle of your screen, if you're just listening in, come and look at it and see that stick that's sticking out of the water? That is the top of the mast of a sailboat that has been submerged. So we are looking at damage, and the good news is that today things will be nice and quiet in the tropics. Let's get right to them and what exactly is going on for cleanup efforts, because it is needed as Hurricane Gonzalo pulls to the north. There's Bermuda there, that little speck there on the screen. So we've already seen Gonzalo move over that area. It is pulling away. Trudy, a new storm that if you're just waking up with us this morning or this afternoon saying, hey, what's going on here? This is south of Acapulco, rather weak tropical storm. Hurricane Ana just south of Hawaii, and we are seeing some flood warnings as a result of that. We'll get to that in a minute, but first, here's the very latest on Gonzalo. It is pulling away from Bermuda. This is a look at our visible satellite. To give you some perspective here, here's the Cape. You can see that over here. So actually moving fairly close to the U.S. We are seeing increased wave heights up and down the East Coast because of this. So as this pulls away, you are seeing these striations here out on the west side. That outflow, pretty tremendous stuff there. And I mentioned earlier that this makes for a very turbulent part of the storm, and it would not be a good part of the storm for the hurricane hunters to be flying through, because that's whenever you start to see that outflow and it gets pretty dangerous. And then out here, we even had that nice transverse banding going on earlier. That has really subsided a little bit for now, but we lost a good portion of that eye and really weakened this system as we went through the overnight hours and the early morning hours. 90-mile-an-hour winds sustained right now, so still a strong Category 1 hurricane. It is going to continue to this north-northeast movement at a very quick 25 miles an hour. I mean, it is chugging off to the northeast. So that pass over Bermuda was pretty quick. We're left with 16-mile-an-hour sustained winds at the airport right now. But that's good news, because we're doing a lot of damage estimates cleanup today on the island. The system could impact Newfoundland. So we're going to see this go south of there, and then the computer models in pretty good agreement taking it across the Atlantic and actually seeing some influences in the UK by the time we get to the latter part of this next week. So not as a tropical system there, it'll undergo some changes internally, but we still could be watching for that. We're looking ahead with that one. Tropical storm watch in effect for St. John's. You'll notice Hawaii, look at all this moisture that's over the Big Island. That's where we're seeing a lot of rainfall right now. That's where we have a flash flood warning in place on the south side of the island, because we we could see isolated spots of up to 10 inches of rainfall. And whenever you have that mountainous terrain, that means not only are you dealing with the rain that comes down, but you're also dealing with runoff in streams and rivers. So flooding going to be something we watch closely. Tropical Storm Watch for Oahu and Kauai. Keith?
All right, thanks, Kate. And it's interesting you mention that because let's take a look. You can see some waves out there for sure, and on the right-hand side of the screen there we have the flash flood warning, which is valid until 10 o'clock Hawaii time. And yeah, they've got heavy rain. It's heavy rain and it's swells. Those are the two things that we're watching from this particular system. We'll look at the radar and you can see where that flash flood warning is relative to the whole deal, and the system is passing to the south. So obviously a direct hit would have been the worst case scenario. That did not happen. We still have some flooding concerns and some big waves even by Hawaii standards. While Hawaii won't take a direct hit from Ana, the storm will still bring the damaging winds, the rain, and the surf that we just talked about. Storm chaser Josh Morgan of iCyclone talked to the people who live there and the tourists in Waikiki about how they're preparing.
Do you know where the hurricane is right now?
Not really, but I assume it should be hitting on Saturday or Sunday, coming from this direction.
My plan is actually to come to the beach and enjoy the waves.
Wow,
wow. Do you feel like anyone you know is worried about this, or are people taking it in stride?
Honestly, most of the people I know, they're not really worried about it.
We do have warnings from the hotel that's told us to stock up on supplies just in case.
Now, when a hurricane comes, do you know what that even means? Like, what happens?
They told me that it's not going to be a big deal.
Brother is they switched their flight from Sunday to Saturday just to be safe. They don't want to get stuck here for an extra few days. I would, but that's just me.
Some people seem worried, like they're stocking up on water and supplies.
Oh, they are? Are you worried?
No, I'm not worried. I'm flying out on Monday, so I'm a little worried my flight is going to be canceled.
Not for nothing, but Josh picked some interesting people to interview there.
Okay.
He's like, oh, a couple of cute surfer girls. What do you guys think about the hurricane?
Okay, we're going to take a look at the damage and away from this, whatever point he's going down when we come back.
Be one with it, and it will be one with you. Be one with your tires, and the road will be one with you. Hankook Tires.
Hankook Tire. Be one with the road, no matter the conditions.
Ring, ring.
Progresso.
I can't believe I'm eating bacon-enriched creamy cheese before my sister's wedding.
Well, it's only 100 calories, so you'll be ready for that dress.
Uh-huh.
You don't love the dress?
I love my sister.
40 flavors, 100 calories or less.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin. Blah, blah, insurance. Person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. 6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
Awesome! I've been Claritin Clear for 8 days.
At the first sign of your allergies, doctors recommend taking 1 Claritin every day of your allergy season for continuous relief.
21 days. 14 days of continuous relief.
Live Claritin Clear every day.
A party?
Hi, I'm new Ensure Active Clear Protein Drink.
Clear, huh? My nutritional standards are high.
I'm not juice or fancy water. I've got 8 grams of protein.
Twist my lid. That's 3 times more than me.
17 vitamins and minerals.
And 0 fat.
You'll bring a lot to the party. Yay!
New Ensure Active Clear Protein. 8 grams protein, 0 fat, 17 vitamins and minerals, and delicious blueberry pomegranate and mixed fruit. Take life in.
Zantac heartburn alert. Stop. Nexium can take 24 hours to work. Zantac's different. Zantac rushes relief in as little as 30 minutes. For relief without the wait. Try Zantac. No pill relieves heartburn faster.
Maybe you didn't know, people with the flu can spread it up to 6 feet away. Or that flu can make chronic conditions worse. Or that experts say anyone who lives or works with infants should be vaccinated. Maybe you didn't know all the stuff your Rite Aid pharmacist knew the whole time. But maybe, since you already went and got your flu shot at Rite Aid without hassle or appointment, maybe you didn't need to know any of that. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
When he first joined the Army, I was very nervous.
We didn't know what they would have him doing. But Bobby always had a plan.
With unmatched training in over 150 careers beyond the battlefield, there are over 150 surprising ways to become Army strong. Talk to your son or daughter about opportunities in the Army.
It may have just looked like a storm, but they were dealing with something far, far worse.
Tomorrow night, the Weather Channel unravels a new tale of weather legend.
Voodoo's like magic. Is it real? Yeah, it's real.
American Supernatural. Tomorrow night at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under fair skies. Today, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, mostly clear. Low 66. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
On AMHQ.
Let's get you in front of today's weather.
The biggest weather hour anywhere.
What a gorgeous start.
Weekday mornings on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. I'm Kate Parker.
And I'm Keith Carson. As you watch the show today, we'd love to see what you're doing this weekend. We have a creative hashtag. It's hashtag your weekend. And we want
I
to
know
see your
you would have
pictures.
never thought of it.
Yeah, it's out there. Check this one out. We got some fall foliage. That's nice in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania kind of in their peak right now.
Yes, we're going to see that peak move farther south as we get into November, and we'll eventually see it here at the Weather Channel headquarters
I was kind
in
of
Atlanta.
impressed. I was going to say, you know, when I moved down here last year, I thought we wouldn't see much of anything. It's actually not bad. You get some decent color down here.
I'm excited to see it once we get there. So that's the good news that we're starting off on, but we need to get more on that serious note.
Right, with the big story is a day after Hurricane Gonzalo that moved through last night. Here's a look at what's happening right now. You can see that system racing off to the north and east. It's going to get a little bit elongated over time as it gets picked up by the jet stream. But a damage assessment is underway in Bermuda this morning as Hurricane Gonzalo made a direct hit last night.
Yeah, so what happened is it was a Category 3 storm as it approached the island. It eventually downgraded to a Category 2 storm, but Gonzalo knocked out power to most the entire island, and it caused probably millions of dollars in damage. Dylan Dreyer has the latest.
Hurricane Gonzalo slammed into Bermuda last night. A direct hit with winds whipping at least 110 miles per hour. The massive swirl swallowed the tiny island as it made landfall just after dark. Rain and wind battered Bermuda quickly. 85% of the island lost power. Boats in the picturesque harbor tossed in the waves. Once the wind did its damage, ripping into homes and buildings, then the main concern became the storm surge and the destructive power of gigantic waves.
So I've been keeping an eye on the radar, and the eye wall is making its way onshore right now. So that's when we see the strongest wind and the heaviest rain out of the system. We'll see what happens when the eye crosses over Bermuda. Tourists who chose to ride out the storm started out with confidence, but a twinge of doubt crept in as the wind picked up.
I don't think that we thought it would be this bad approaching, and now, well, what are you going to do? It's too late.
Rob Johnson and Dana Belke still plan to get married today. They waited out the hurricane with their wedding party in the hotel basement.
When we got in here and they'd given us the update, I looked at my bride-to-be and she looked at me and she said, we came to Bermuda to get married, and I'm not leaving this island until we get married.
The destruction from Gonzales could rival Hurricane Fabian, which struck Bermuda 11 years ago, with enough force to cause $300 million in damage. Today, rebuilding begins for the world-famous vacation spot.
All right, Dylan Dreyer with that report for us. Appreciate that. Let's talk about where Gonzalo is right now and continuing to move away from Bermuda. Last night, 8:30 was the time we officially had a landfall there as a Category 2. As Kate mentioned, it was a Category 3 right before, so probably a strong Cat 2 as it moved on shore. 110 mile per hour winds officially. And the back end of that eye wall did some of the most damage. It was recorded the strongest wind gust on the back end of it. So there's Bermuda right now. Beautiful right now, quiet, clear. Even the clouds have moved away from this system. Still has a center of circulation for sure. There's Cape Cod, by the way, Massachusetts, for kind of a frame of reference for you. These will get elongated as they get picked up by the jet stream and moved off to the north and east. And moving at 25 miles an hour, that will increase. When they get caught by this jet stream, this part of the country, they really zip off. And remember, all along, we knew that this was not a threat for the United States mainland. It was Bermuda or nothing, pretty much. And the reason for that is this strong trough out here. Look at Washington, D.C., this trough all the way down into Atlanta. So that steered it away and pushed this thing off to the north and east. So we felt it was in place. The computer models locked into that. And actually, you know, as much as we rag on the computer models sometimes, they locked into a solution pretty early with this system that had Bermuda in the crosshairs. And sure enough, that's how it played out. Winds right now, 20 miles an hour right in the middle of it. Bermuda, not seeing as big of winds at the moment. Waves, I should say, at the moment. So that's good news. Winds aren't big either. 14, 16 miles an hour, calm as you head down the southern part of the island. So I'd categorize what's left right now as breezy, but not all that windy. Still some pretty big swells out there, particularly out of the open ocean. This thing, again, accelerates quickly, becomes extratropical. Winds though around 70 miles an hour. By tomorrow morning, Newfoundland will get hit with this, but Newfoundland is a really tough spot. They get hit with a lot of storms as they exit, as they bomb out on their way to the UK, so they're pretty used to some strong winds. At this point, it's no longer a tropical system. And the National Hurricane Center has really nothing to do with it at this point, continues to move away. So, as I mentioned, we do have a tropical storm watch for a place like St. John's, but I can tell you, like I did before, not only just tropical systems, but anything strong that comes out of the northeast tends to impact this area with some really strong winds because of the way it's kind of jutted out, the topography of the whole thing. So these are places that are pretty used to it. If anything, they should be fine as this continues to move through there. Big waves, yes. 4 or 5 feet over the Carolinas, not bad. You head to the north, they're bigger in through the mid-Atlantic and in through the northeast, 7, 8 foot waves. But this is all spectator sport stuff because you know for sure when the temperatures are in the 50s and low 60s and the ocean is the temperature it is right now, you're not going in the water anyway. So, you know, if this happened in July or August, we'd be concerned about people swimming in this. That's not really going to be an issue. Just stay away from some of these rocks over down East Maine as the waves continue to churn out. Kate?
Okay, Keith, so going from what's going on with Gonzalo, we're now going to go take a look at what's happening with the very latest with Ana. Here is a live look at Kauai where it's actually very quiet. You've got some waves that are a little higher than normal going on there, but otherwise not a lot of activity. You can see those palm fronds really not moving much in the wind. But look on the right-hand side of your screen. There is a flash flood warning in effect right now. This is for the south side of the Big Island, and this is really where we've seen a lot of that rainfall train on shore. I'm going to show you what I mean here. Let's go ahead and take this these maps full. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on and show you what's happening with the very latest Ana, because this is why we're seeing that flash flooding. Taking a look at the higher cloud tops here on our satellite, this is showing you the colder levels of these cloud tops. So that's what the colors are indicating to you, therefore more moisture involved. So what's happening is that we're getting a lot of that convection on the northeast side of the system, which clearly is directly impacting the Hawaiian Islands. This hurricane is down to the south, so Ana has 80-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Winds not so much a concern. Waves are really high. We're going to maybe see a little coastal erosion, a little bit of that beach erosion happening. But this is what we're concerned about with this flash flood warning and why it's in effect. Look at the radar. What you're not seeing is the bottom half of the Big Island as far as radar goes, because the radar beam cannot make its way through the mountainous terrain of the Big Island, so it can't see past that elevation. So what you're not seeing are all the showers that are coming on shore here, but what you see right here, see how these showers are training from south to north, and they are basically not able to pass very easily over the island because you do have those higher elevations. That does squeeze some of the moisture out of the atmosphere. It does create a little bit heavier downpours on this side of the mountainous terrain, so that is why we're watching right there that flash flood warning. You can see most of the convection to the south, but flooding and mudslides, something we're going to be watching very close for, Keith.
All right, thanks, Kate. Let's take you down to Miami, where it's actually really nice today. Take a look at this camera. People out on their boats just hanging out. It's really going to be nice through today, but the wheels fall off the old wagon as we head into the next few days. So right now it's 84 degrees. Get out there, enjoy it. Calm winds and gorgeous across the southeast. Nice today in Atlanta. Kate and I are itching to get out of the studio because it's in the 70s. It's sunny. It's real nice, real nice. And take a look at the satellite picture. Anywhere you see the black, that's because there's no clouds there to reflect anything. So all of Florida, all of Georgia looking really nice through today, but that's a stark contrast. What's going to happen early in the week, this low will develop kind of deep in the Gulf of Mexico and get that moisture moving across southern and central Florida on its way to another system out here over the Atlantic. So it's kind of in a pathway of moisture, and that just is the recipe for training of that rain right over southern and central Florida. I think particularly down towards Miami and into the Florida Keys here. We're going to see a ton of rain Tuesday and Wednesday as that moisture continues to move on. Could see 5-6 inches of rain. The only good news is these are areas that are pretty adept to dealing with rain. Kate?
Okay, Keith, so that cool air that hit the Midwest this week, that is going to continue on into the Northeast. We're going to take a look at the areas that are expected to feel the biggest cool downs ahead.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under fair skies. This afternoon, abundant sunshine. High 83. Winds light and variable. Tonight, generally clear. Low 66. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Thought it'd be bigger.
There's nothing I can't reach in my Subaru.
Introducing the all-new Subaru Outback. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Let's do a reality check. Kids will be kids. Dogs will be dogs. So let's get some paint that's more than just paint. Made to stand up to this and look beautiful for years. Let's lose the old marks and messes and stop new ones in their tracks. Let's worry-proof our walls. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Bear Premium Plus with Easy Clean Finish starting at $25.97 a gallon.
Ring, ring.
Progresso.
It's okay that your soup tastes like my homemade.
It's our slow-simmered vegetables and tender white meat chicken.
Apology accepted. I'm watching you, soup people.
Make it Progresso or make it yourself.
If you don't think seize the trip when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Get inspired with AARP Travel. Plan and book your trip online and get hot travel tips from the pros. Find more real possibilities at aarp.org/possibilities.
Premium for the year. Hi, sorry, just want to say, I bundled home and auto with State Farm, saved $760. Love this guy. So sorry.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky!
Savings worth talking about. State Farm.
I've got one shot. Let's go twins right, 24 stretch.
24 stretch, all diamond. Twins right, 24 stretch. All diamonds on 2
When the game's on the line.
Hit them with a hard count. See if they'll tip their hand.
The NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
They're blitzing up the gut. Get out of the pocket.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
Here at High Acres, we always say life is better on the farm. And that's because we love what we do, which is growing the best tasting fruit available. After months of nurturing, our orchards are bursting with crispy, delicious apples. And we can't wait for you to taste them. That's why we work with Walmart. They help us deliver some of the freshest apples available, backed by their 100% money-back guarantee.
Picked by farmers, guaranteed by us.
Hands were made for talking. Feet, tiptoeing. Better things than the pain, stiffness, and joint damage of moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis. Before you and your rheumatologist decide on a biologic, ask if Xeljanz is right for you. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a small pill, not an injection or infusion, for adults with moderate to severe RA for whom methotrexate did not work well. Xeljanz can relieve RA symptoms and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers have happened in patients taking Xeljanz. Don't start Xeljanz if you have any infection, unless okay with your doctor. Tears in the stomach or intestines, low blood cell counts, and higher liver tests and cholesterol levels have happened. Your doctor should perform blood tests before you start and while taking Xeljanz, and routinely check certain liver tests. Tell your doctor if you have been to a region where fungal infections are common, and if you have had TB, hepatitis B or C, or are prone to infections. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take. One pill, twice daily. Xeljanz can reduce RA pain and help stop further joint damage, even without methotrexate. Ask about Xeljanz.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. Take a look at Times Square. You can see some sun actually poking out there. Not an awful day today. A few showers possible later today. But, hey, it's going to cool down over the next few. And next work week looks really rough. New York City, but particularly up through Boston. That's where we're going to see the bulk of this nor'easter that's developing. And it is a nor'easter. It's not good looking at all. 67 right now. It says mostly cloudy, and it probably is. But you can see some sun coming through parts of that. So not an awful situation right now. Temperatures in the 70s towards D.C., 69 in Boston. We got a cold front number 1 and cold front number 2, so cool air and then, yeah, really cool air, gusty winds behind it. Look at Detroit sitting at 48 degrees in a strong northwesterly wind. Northwesterly wind, a cool wind direction most times of the year. Showers riding out ahead of this boundary. That's pretty typical here. So showers here and then showers back here as well in the second half of this cold front. So you're going to see a lot of these showers moving through upstate New York, Vermont right now. But you'll notice New York staying dry, D.C. staying dry, Boston staying dry as well. So just a few showers moving through central parts of Pennsylvania. They're just little popcorn spritzels that will move in over the next few hours. Big trough, though, and this is going to set the stage for that nor'easter that's going to develop through midweek. So this trough is already in place as this cold front comes through, so that cooler air is there. And then we're going to see a system develop right around here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, probably raining through parts of Friday and Saturday morning as well. Gonna sneak that in like a quieter tone of voice. It's not looking good, that's for sure, with that cool air coming down. So we're focusing on the temperatures in this particular segment here. Temperatures are gonna be below average with that trough in place, so 5 to 10 degrees below average. Chicago, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, New York, and Burlington. But I think the bigger story for much of the Northeast and even parts of the Mid-Atlantic coming up is going to be that wet weather. Temperatures 10, 15 degrees below average through today. And then as we head into tomorrow, that axis of coolest air shifts. I mean, a high of 45 is pretty cool in Burlington, Vermont. And then on Monday, 54, 58 in Boston, 60 in New York City. And then after that, things really fall apart for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Monday might be your better day. Temperatures still in the 50s. Kate?
Okay, Keith, we got to pump our people up because it's time for the college football forecast. Now, if you're not already at the tailgate, maybe you're watching at home, you want to know what the weather is going to be like for your favorite team. How will they be able to throw the ball? Will they be throwing into the wind, against the wind? What's going on with this? Will it be raining? Let's take a look. So showers in the Northeast, like Keith was just showing us. Beautiful in the South, warm and dry, a little cool in the upper Midwest, though. We do have some spotty showers in the Pacific Northwest. So shall we pick a spot? Any spot? How about this big game today in Tallahassee, Florida? It is Notre Dame against the Seminoles at Florida State. So 73 degrees clear. The wind's only going to be out of the west-northwest at 5 miles an hour. So kind of perfect football weather, in my opinion. Someplace that it's not going to be quite as nice, but, you know, it's nice fall weather. It's going to make you definitely feel like it's fall outside. Going to be a little farther north here. Let's take a look at that forecast. This is going to be in Columbus, Ohio. It's the Ohio State against Rutgers. You're going to be seeing a few showers, 52 degrees, kind of socked in with this cloudy weather. And look at these winds out of the northwest at 14 miles an hour. So that's definitely going to impact the way that the players are throwing the ball and the way that those kickoff returns are going to go, everything. So you got to watch out for those with those winds. That's always a big concern. And it's going to be a slippery ball as well with that rain in the forecast. How about we go somewhere else? Let's go to Alabama, say. See what's going on there in Tuscaloosa. Beautiful, 75 degrees. This is Texas A&M. Go Aggies against the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll see how that goes today, Keith.
All right, thanks, Kate, very much. Let's get you to the latest hurricane advisory that's just out. Still holding it a Cat 1. Gonzalo is 966, I should say. But the thing I want to show you is look how quickly it's moving. Picked up by the jet stream, racing now near 30 miles an hour to the north-northeast.
What are you doing, Jay? Hang down your own tree.
It's my tree. I'm just trying to do something nice for the neighborhood birds.
You don't care about the birds. You're just trying to get their droppings on my dart.
Oh, how dare you? I've always supported birds. And what happened to you, Craig? You used to love birds. You had a bird as a best friend before. You'd hang out with it and socialize with it, and that bird lived right across the street. Now you got a stupid old dart.
That little bird with her feelings, that's you, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah.
With 5 perfectly sweetened whole grains, you can't help but see the good.
Look for Big G cereals with money-saving offers on these breakfast favorites and give your budget a boost.
You're going to want to watch 7 a.m. on AMHQ.
This is a big weather morning.
The biggest weather hour anywhere. What you watch in the morning matters.
Is your weather geeky this morning?
Make AMHQ your morning show. America's morning headquarters. Weekday mornings starting live at 7 Eastern on the Weather Channel.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8s, brought to you by LL Bean. 100% satisfaction guaranteed and free shipping every day.
Making jackets that are built to perform anywhere is hard work. And at LL Bean, we take our job very seriously. Guaranteed quality,